Traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you guys are tuning in, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. Guys, we are back with the recaps and we are trying to put them out before 4 p.m. Let's say before 5 p.m. Market time. All right, so stay tuned throughout the week. The recaps are back. With that being said, let's talk about this beautiful green day. And as you guys can see from the thumbnail, we are up 1,300 bucks. I was up over 2K at one point. I did give back profits. We'll talk about it. And so I traded stock ticker symbols PALI, RVSN, and REVB as the main three, right? I'm looking up because I'm doing this recap on this other screen here today. So before we jump into the three most asked questions, right? Hey, how did you find these stocks? What setups were you looking for? And lastly, how did you look to manage risk? Let's talk a little bit about our disclaimer. Guys, if you did not know, I'm going to enlighten you, right? Day trading is risky. Day trading is risky business. Day trading is hard. Day trading takes months and more commonly years to get efficient and proficient. So if you're someone who's new to the market, even if you've been around and you're not quite where you want to be consistency wise, use small share size, utilize the simulators. That way your risk is very, very low. Do not Joe. That's the word they use here in the streets. Do not slack. Do not Joe. Do not fool yourself into thinking you're an expert, right? We're not professionals. We have to take time to build experience. That's the nature of any business in any field. Why do it in a way where your exposure is high? It doesn't make any sense. If you're doing it that way, it means you're trying to get rich quick, which is just foolishness in itself. So second, remember to never copy trade. The recaps and live streams are not an invitation to copy trade. You have to understand strategies for yourself. You have to put in the time, the blood, sweat, and tears. Lastly, I do not invest for my subscribers. So be very careful with the fake accounts. A ton of fake accounts, people pretending to be me. I will never ask for money or personal information. And lastly, I will never message you first. I will never message you first randomly for no reason and start a conversation. If that's happening, it's a fake account. Block and report them immediately. The only way I'm messaging someone is if they message me first with a question, or if maybe they're a little out of line in the community and I'm reminding them of our rules, or it has to be something along those lines where there's a good reason. Otherwise, I'm not just messaging people. So let's start off with PALI, as this was the first stock to move. This was the stock. Let's say this was the cheapest of the bunch, and it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't great. So coming into the open, we were watching for the opening surge, which I did capture, but only with small share size. We had a low here of 14 and a high of 29. We wanted to see this thing over 22 for a break of the previous high in pre-market. So we opened up, we had lows around 14, it pushed up slowly. As it got up to this level we're in, it goes up here to 28. I'm out. First trade of the day was a good trade. Let's double check on that to see if the entries were correct. We're in at 20, out at 27 and 26. Well, we're in at 20, we added at 25, we sold at 27, and then the original balance at 26. That's how we started the day. Small green up 140, but we definitely should have been in there more size, because throughout this push, I ended up coming up to, as you guys will see here, 4,500 shares max size. Well, not max, but big size, and then 2,500 smaller size. And I was willing to buy twice in areas if I needed to, right? So with that being said, and I'm wondering, okay, this just looks like it was okay, this is one of those areas where I bought twice, but this ended up being a losing trade, as you guys will see. So coming to the charts, in terms of pattern, right? In our classes, the opening surge is something that's mentioned a lot, right? Here in our community in general, the opening surge, breaking over previous highs. It's essentially a high of day trade, right? So that was the first pattern that I was looking at. Some of you guys will ask, Relentless, what was the risk? You might hear that people can lose all their money in the stock market. So you might say, Relentless, was it possible for you to lose all your money in that trade? Well, the answer is no. In order for me to lose all my money, the stock would have needed to went from 122 down to 0. what are the odds that I am in this thing from 122 all the way to zero when I'm looking for an instant immediate move up? And this is how the risk is managed in this trade. Hey, can we keep surging up or I'm out? That's the basis of this trade. So if I'm in at 20 and it starts to linger, 21, 22, it's not continuously pushing higher, or if it starts to sell off and it drops to 19, 18, I want to be out as quick as possible for a break-even stop or a very small loss and then wait for the next setup. This is literally, hey, it must go or I'm out immediately kind of trade. And so it's surging up. Volume is coming in. We're usually at some of the highest amounts of volume into the open. We want to see a huge move up right away for new highs. So that was the risk. And in most of my trades, that's how I'm managing my risk, right? Most of my trades, even if it's a pullback trade, most of my dip trades, pullback trades, I'm in low and I want to see an immediate move up. If not, I want to keep it tight. Even if it flushes down on me and I take a bit of a bigger loss in the moment, I want to cut it quickly, get out, and not hold long forever and potentially have a stock go to zero, because that can happen. And what typically happens is that people, if they get emotional, instead of coming out at the level flat, they hold it and then they also start to buy more as the stock goes lower, which is also against our rules. We want to be in and out. If it's not going, if it's not working, we want to be back out, right? That's the basis of the strategy. Hey, if I'm in here for a new high, if I want to see a new green candle, and we can pull up the drawing tool, right? If we want to see a new green candle, hold on here one sec. There we go. Yeah, if we want to see a new green candle in this area here, right? Something, a big move like that. And I'm in right here and it's not going. I want to be out immediately. If it comes down a little bit on me, I want to be out at the next possible area so I'm not in holding all the way down here, right? So that's how we're managing risk on high of day trades for a new high or for a support level, right? And the only other way I'm in a support trade and holding it is if I'm saying, hey, I think where I'm in right now is still support and the stock is not going past a certain level. So let's say I think this line right here that we have coming across at 22 is support. If I'm in this thing, let's say 24, and it's not dropping below 22, then I can hold it for a few minutes, especially if I took it over here. I can hold it for a minute, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If it doesn't break below, I can give it time if I want to, depending on how I feel about the area, right? And how the chart is looking. Well, not even how I feel, but how the indicators are looking, right? And so from here, we did get a new high, although it was temporary. It surged up with a big move. At the time, this was a big green candle, but unfortunately, it came right back down. So I'm going to show you guys that particular area and why it was very disappointing, because we were looking for a very solid move and we did not get it. So give me one sec here. Let's pull up the archive. This was uploaded to the website. And it's this one. Okay. Oh, there's 4 p.m. The markets are closed unofficially because they're still after hour trading. So I made money and then I lost it back. So watch this right here. Right, the level 2 is on the right hand side. So this thing is going to rip over 35 for new highs. And I'm going to be in small size, 4,500. There's 34. And you can see how volume is just ripping in. I'm going to say I'm going to go for it. There's sellers here. But hey, I think we can keep pushing. I'm going to go for it. The market has been hot. I'm in and immediately it's at 41 and then 42. And so I'm taking the gains and you can see I'm doubling my profits from up 300 to now up about 700. But then here's the issue. We're going to dip and I'm going to get very aggressive here because I'm going to think that this should hold. So I take the dip very aggressively at 37, and immediately you can see it drops to 31. And in the moment, I was even thinking about adding, and so this thing started to flush. And so again, all of this is me thinking, hey, we can hold 35 area and get right back to 40. Can the resistance become support that we were just seeing here at this area? And look at what I do the moment I realize it's continuing to come down. So some people ask again, hey, can you lose all your money? Yeah, if you're not taking it seriously, if you're gambling, if you're very emotional, you're not being disciplined towards the rules that you have for yourself, or towards, let's say, first, the rules that's dedicated towards a successful strategy. That's how I have to start phrasing it here, right? The rules for my strategy is to cut this trade the moment I realize it's not holding the 35 area, which was the previous support, well, previous resistance that I'm hoping now to be support. So I'm buying back at 37. 35 was the last area, so I'm really and truly risking 2 cents. It comes down to 31. It springs back up. I'm in 9K size. My average is 34, and right now we're at 34. And so I'm not panicking just yet. I'm not worried just yet. But the moment I see we're not slingshotting back up, because this is resistance. We just had resistance here. Why are we coming down so much lower now below the resistance? It must mean that the stock is failing. I need to sell immediately here. And that's what I'm going to do right here. I realize, okay, I need to cut this thing. And at 30, I sold. I take the loss. So I just made some good money and I just lost it back. So I'm in at 34. I'm out at 31, 30, cutting the trade quickly, keeping it tight. And so if I'd gotten emotional, I could have been still holding this thing all the way down here. But why? Why would I do that to myself, knowing I can cut the loss and then be able to get back in, whether it's right in the next, whether it's on a next opportunity on the same stock, a different day, tomorrow, next week. There's no scarcity here. Stocks are in abundance. Trades are in abundance. There's no reason why we need to have a scarcity mindset. Even if we're trading in a situation where we don't have a ton of trades available to us, that's okay. There's going to be another stock. There's going to be another trade. There's going to be another entry. And that's the mindset. That's the mindset that we have here in this community. The Relentless trading community is all about discipline and being patient for the entries and trades. So that was one of the areas where I traded. We pulled back. We had a bear flag. It curled back up. And so the risk is essentially the same through and through on this one. Now let's switch over to RVSN quickly, just for some talks here. RVSN, I had a very tough time in the beginning because this stock last week was tricky, difficult. Price action was rough. I told myself, hey, I might put this thing on my no trade list. I was green on it 800. It would have been the first time I put a stock I was green on my no trade list. But it was tough, man. And the issue I had today was that I had up a bit of a wall, and I didn't really give it my full undivided attention. I just thought to myself, hey, I don't want to really trade it. I don't want to get involved. So ultimately, a lot of the opportunities that were here, I was very passive towards. And early in the move, this thing is curling up nicely. Volume is light initially, but we start watching it around 950. And I'm like, you know what? This was a good move, but I want to see it pull back into the previous resistance area where we couldn't break out. Can we get a pullback into that level? The pullback came down and it held up high. I'm like, oh man, I didn't get in. I didn't get in. And then I looked away. I'm like, I missed the trade. And you know what? It gave exactly what I wanted. This area became support. It ripped up. So on the last stock, that's the same thing I was looking for. It rips up here. And then throughout this move where I still have a lot of entries like the high of day break, the baby pullback, and so forth, I was super passive and essentially missed this entire move. Started trading it around the pullback area here, made money, lost money, and then short sellers were in control after we had this high of 1625. So right up here, we had high of day, and then on the 5 minute, this became a topping wick candle. A reverse hammer, however you want to call it, shooting star. There's a million different ways of saying it. we pulled back, small bear flag right here, and it broke down. So I'm watching at this previous low. I'm like, hey, can we hold up here? And it does hold up here, but I didn't take this trade. I should have took this trade down here for a potential bounce, but this bounced up nicely. And we came back into the higher area of this bear flag where we just had resistance up here, right? Resistance. So this was then resistance again. And I was hoping we could push through the level. And if we did, I thought there would have been a high chance for a new high, but we did not. And it sold off. But later into the day, and look, is this, ask yourself, is this coincidence, right? Remember earlier right here was this 1530, and I'm saying remember as if we just didn't look at it, but what was this 1535 area? What does the stock come back to? 15, let's see, 1525, 1518, 1516, 1530. So the same exact area that 1526, 1535, 1521, 1525, the same exact area. It's not coincidence, guys. It's not by random. So if you study hard enough, you pay attention long enough, you'll start to see it. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. So in the classes that we teach, these are the things we're pointing out every day. And I'm ultimately here on YouTube giving away some free content. Right, this stuff is free, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. It rejects. It gets above, and it rejects. The candle was not able to close above the resistance. Right, at least not a few candles in a row. This one kind of did, but then immediately back down. And you swear it can be a little choppy, and the risk is always real. Which is why even when it looks good, we still have to keep our stops tight. Hey, we're above the level. Why are we coming back down? Why are we coming down on the lower side? Let me get out. Let me cut it. I can get back in some other time, whether it's later today, next week, next year, some other stock today, a different stock tomorrow, whatever. It finally gets above it this time, and look at how well it holds. And this is where you can really do well as a day trader, in these areas like this. Boom, 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 boom. And so I made some money here, and rode the wave up. And that was the day. I was up 1,600 on it, and I was using very aggressive share size. If this stock had been anything like the one we had on Friday, I would have made like 15-20,000 today. But it didn't, and that's okay. But we put ourselves in the position to be successful if it did. And that's all that matters. We gave back some, but that doesn't matter. We're practicing for the real deal next time. All right. With that being said, stay safe, stay green. It's been Relentless Trader. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. If you are interested in my beautiful day trading course that I have that goes from zero to advanced, be sure to check it out. The links are down below. It's called Merciless Markets. Merciless Markets is where it goes down. All right. MMU. We have a ton of students now. It's growing. A lot of great feedback. We just had a virtual meetup. We had about 10-15 students or so that we met up with on Sunday. Of course, Sunday, a lot of, family day. Some people are working the day job and so forth, so they weren't able to attend. But we'll do a ton more of those. So even if you're a student and you missed it, there'll be more. Don't worry about it. But yeah, guys, check it out. Check out the program. Check out the curriculum. Check out these different tiers, right? The gold membership is the recommended membership, as it includes everything. But for sure, you guys can check out the curriculum here and just take a look and see, the different chapters and so forth that we have. It's very extensive. It's no BS, but we wanted you guys to know that it takes time, months, more commonly years. And success is not guaranteed, because ultimately no business is guaranteed. Day trading is a business. It comes down to your availability, comes down to how dedicated you are, comes down to putting in time, being willing to adapt, being willing to be disciplined, and a whole lot more, right? Trading is hard, trading is risky, but it's possible. People like myself, Marcelo, Tim, Crispy, Save, Calamity in the chat, you guys see us every day getting it done. So with that being said, check it out. There's also an option here for the Discord. If you are interested in the chat room, the link for that is down below as well. And I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe, stay green. It's been your favorite YouTuber, Relentless Trader, and I am signing out.